Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect and what may be the final build episode of this series. In the previous episode, we mainly were dealing with an outbreak of sickness and we quarantined the people involved. We sent doctors over there, but because of various reasons we didn't get every single person, which meant that the sickness spread throughout the entire facility, which had the knock-on effect of pretty much nothing. Although that may have accounted for why we had a huge increase in the danger level, which then had a knock-on effect with our needs, specifically the safety need, and it went everywhere. So in order to alter that, we have reduced the amount of work time, so they have more free time in the facility. I'm also going to do the same for the yard, because quite frankly, I've had limited success with that. I also think if we needed to, we could reduce the amount of sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. We could probably reduce it, but I don't think we will. I'm just going to go for a shakedown all sectors because we haven't done that in quite some time. So having a full shakedown will increase the danger level, but we do need to get rid of some of this contraband because I'm guessing it's going to be quite, it's quite a lot. In this episode, we are pretty much going to be, I think, finishing off the facility. Now, the main things we have to work on is this room and this room. These are the two new common rooms that I'll put in, and they should be a little bit more stocked than this thing, because we'll have like computer stations, arcade cabinets, like pool tables, football tables, etc. in there. And apparently there's a tunnel there. I very much doubt it. But yeah, that's what those rooms are going to be, and then we need to place some flooring and other such things. In terms of money, I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? We've got 772,000 generic units of currency. It is, well, pretty good for us. What I'm going to do is build one and then clone it down to the bottom. So over to here, we're going to go to flooring and to carpet blue. I'm going to place in the blue carpet. In terms of our objects, we're going to go for some zooming right in here. We're going to put in... Oh, actually, I should probably make this a common room in the first place. So that's going to become a common room. And then now we get all of this populated, yep, which is good. So we're going to have some TVs in here. So we're going to have one TV and then two TVs. We're not going to have the large TVs simply because most of the prisoners that may come in here already have TVs in their rooms anyway. So this is just like a supplementary sort of group area. I'm also going to have computers that I'll actually run... I think I'm going to just cancel that. I'm going to have computers. I like the idea of having like a row of computers there and then a row of computers like that. That seems quite nice. We're going to have some arcade cabinets. Arcade cabinets as well. Like that. And then along the other side. So as people are trying to work, you're just going to have the arcade cabinets making all kinds of noises. I'm not going to place any snack machines in here. We're not going to have any bookcases. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cancel that. I think chess tables. Chess tables would be much better in here. And there's people coming along to actually use the chess tables. Phone booths we are not putting in. Phone booths... Oh, actually, do I want to put some phone booths in? That might be desirable. There's some phone booths at the back. I'll have to remember to connect those up. And let's see if we can place... We've got table football. A couple of table footballs in there. We'll place in table tennis, just the one, and we need like a... Where is the pool table? There it is. Pool table. Actually move that along, that table tennis. So... Lots of tunnels around the place apparently, but we know... Hang on. That's auto light. We know that a lot of it is not the case. They're saying that there's like tunnels in here. Now, that could be true, but it's highly unlikely. 771,000 in the kitty, and we're getting about 40 grand a day. So, needless to say... We are making a reasonable amount of money. What else can we put in here? It does always recommend these bookcases. Now, I've had limited success with them because when I place them, they don't get stocked up with books, but I'm going to place them in there anyway just to see if it does anything. We are on currently lockup and danger level is going down. If we check out our needs, we can see that we have most needs fulfilled, and luxury needs, although there's a medium need for luxuries, about 70 prisoners. The critical need has... Oh, has it gone down? It might not have gone down. It might just look like it has because obviously this is a ratio and we've got more prisoners. So it might be about the same. But it is better than before. We have also a very, very dirty facility here. I'm going to hire more janitors and more gardeners. In fact, I'm going to hire even more gardeners. Now that that's in, I'm going to clone it. So quick build and cloning. Rotate and then flip. And it should remove the lights. Yep, it's going to remove the lights. That's something that I didn't realise and someone did mention in a comment, so thank you for that. That's good. While they're cracking on with that, I'm going to see about our intake. Adjusting sentences. Let's not touch that. Yeah, we still have all these suit max and max sec ratios that are going up, but no death row. I don't think we'll end up getting death row in here. Bit of a downer, I know, but quite frankly, this is one of the things I wanted to bring in. Just mainly for something to be a bit different on the left, but it doesn't seem to have done much. This has always been about the reform and getting that refending rate down, and that's been a success, I think. Also had green energy as well. So we have 170 prisoners, but 184 capacity. And early release for prisoners as well, and then a death. Oh! Looks like Paul Rogers has killed a cook with a fountain pen by the look of it. Where have they got a fountain pen? Dangers. There is... Just found. No, just found. We don't have any idea where those fountain pens have came from. How strange. We have no idea where the fountain pen came from. It just magically appeared. But there you are. All these jobs are maxed out. Just making sure that we have got jobs signed. At least the bakery and the restaurant is fully staffed and is working seemingly very well. So I'm happy with that. We finally have some prisoners in this bus. I'm going to immediately do... I'm going to have a chat with Tim, actually. Normally we go to Sean, but I think it's about time we have a chat with somebody else. Looks like everybody that is potentially an issue we have in protective custody, so that's good. And we're just waiting for the workers to crack on and build over on the left hand side there. You can see they're bringing all the stuff in. And there you go, look. Tim Hawkins wandering in here. They're in lockdown. They're obviously not in lockdown. They've wandered in here. They've had a little stand around while still shackled, thrown up on the floor, and then wandered off. That doesn't scream lockdown to me. Same as Stefan here. In solitary, apparently. It's now free time, so I expect this danger level to fly down. But it doesn't look like it. And overdoses as well. And we have Richard Chappell here, fighting the guard. Going to have to guard response that, because he's not going to be able to deal with all of that. Here's the dogs coming along. First one at the scene, normally the dogs. That's why they end up Sadly being often the ones that are injured or killed the most. That says it's not plumbed in, and indeed it isn't. I don't know why though. We did order that in one go. This is now put in. Time to spend a lot of money. Do we have enough money? 807,000. We have enough money. So, this money is going to be spent. Not all of it, you understand. And this is the grass all the way around the outside. Which some of it has already been placed. But there is... How much is that in grass? 50 grand in grass. That's going to give the workers and the gardeners something to do. Still unavailable. Death row intake is also a lot slower than regular intake. You won't always get an increase to death row pool. Inmates are few and far between. I know... I think I heard it mentioned previously when it was an introversion blog. They mentioned about the... They mentioned about the death row being tied to the category of prisoner. So you have to have higher category to get death row. This doesn't really mention that. Hopefully we'll get one later on. So the warden, fire has started in the kitchen. Yes, indeed it has. Right, we have got some sprinklers. There are 2 sprinklers currently working. However, I'm not going to take any chances, and I'm going to get 2 fire engines and bring in these fire engines here. Luckily, they come on the other side. And here we go. We can see the popping along there. I'm going to get both fire services and bring them in. Actually, I'll probably get you guys to go here. So we're going to jump off the appliance, bring it in, and they're now going to stand over... There we go, I was going to say, stand over the hoses. And that's it. Problem fixed. Luckily, we had all of the things in here that we needed to have. So we'll just remove... So we'll just fix the wall and floor, and then it's job done. This is where preparation has come in handy there. Good. Danger level is still increasing. I am not going to do any shakedowns or anything. We'll just let them crack on there. That's a tunnel. That could potentially be legitimate. We'll do a tunnel search. We're not searching the prisoners, we're doing a tunnel search. So prisoners shouldn't have a pop-up to say unnecessarily searched recently. We've found several tunnels. But no big dramas. Let's just remove those tunnels. Some of it we can't remove because there's fighting, so they won't do it. Here's all the workers, as you can see, that are currently placing all of the turf in random places. I did fire 10 workers in the previous episode, which I shouldn't have done until I've finished the building, but there you go. Competence is not what you're going to find around here, for the most part, I'm afraid. Oh, death row, 1. We do have 1 inmate available. Okay. And they are going to come here. Interesting. Interesting. Just gonna hire some more staff. There's 50 workers. We don't even take a hit. I mean, this is like playing with cheat mode on, isn't it? You've got so much money, you really don't care about that sort of thing anymore. What it feels like to be rich? You don't have all of most problems go away. Just fling some money at the problem. And I've got money, so I can get more money. It's easy. I have money, so I can invest the money to get more money without having to do much with the money. Again, commentary on certain aspects of life. Anyway, we want to touch on the prison, because we are pretty much there. There are the odd things that we could change. And there will be the odd error here and there, maybe in flooring, maybe in positioning, etc. But for the most part, we are pretty much sorted. Overall then, we'll discuss where we started and how we've got here. So we started obviously with second chances, all about reform, and the main focus was on reform, rehabilitation, and getting that reform increased and the prisoners coming back reduced. So all like our released prisoners, we want them released. We want to see none of this in the red, which, as you can see, we've had a couple of people that have reoffended and come back, but that's a little bit long list here of people now working in the restaurant, shopping mall, cleaning agency, etc. It just scrolls down and it's all positive, even though the net is only 3,000. We had originally set out to have a customer slash like civilian facing essentially area at the front here. So it's all about the people who are visiting and non-inmates only interacting at the front here and not going further back. That did change later on with the introduction of the classroom and the chapel and the moving of that, but that's just how it was, and that's Richard Chappell, who was trying to take on about 5 guards there. That just didn't work out for him. But yes, we set all that up and then obviously built backwards. You can see where the wall was. You can see, like, obviously that's the extension bit there, isn't it? And we start off with a medium map, planned it all out, and begun construction. It worked out quite well, and I don't think there's much I'd really change. Perhaps altering the size of this is potentially a thing we could have done. Just going to connect up these phone taps here before I forget. Interrupting myself as we were talking about it. Yeah, perhaps altering the size of this. I normally oversize the kitchen and the canteen, but knowing that we were going to expand, I think that's about right. We could probably shrink it down a bit, but it's fine. The meeting room I would certainly have larger and have more of. I would probably double, even triple the amount of meeting rooms that we have for this size of prisoner. Similar thing for the bakery and for the cafe slash restaurant. I would have 2 of them. What I'd probably do is have a row down the bottom and a row at the top, pretty much symmetrical, and have the prisoners come in, go up, and then across. That's most likely what we'd do. But obviously we put all of that in. We put solitary in, our security rooms, our protective custody. We had a bit of problem with the laundry and things like that. And overall, though, here we just didn't really have any big dramas, and we already had good work and good reforms. Some slight issues with obviously where people were working and the qualifications, but we did get there when it came to the expansion and getting more prisoners. And once we had both cell blocks, we had more people working in the bakery and the kitchen. We then went for expansion and expanded to the left. We moved some rooms further back. We decided to have the graded cells, which is something that we weren't going to have at the start of the series, but we went for that. We also then introduced some green energy, because why not? It produces more energy and it's just, you know, better. And the amount of energy you get is ludicrous, especially with using the wind solar hybrids. Getting extra the green energy goal, should I say, done just increases that as well, and we can sell back to the grid, so you just kept more money from it. We also then placed in obviously things like the flower gardens to do all of the therapies and such, which aids in rehabilitation and reform. And then also we got the death row in, which was, well, a strange addition, and I'm still not sold on it personally. I honestly think it was something that we added because there was a lot of requests to do it. It doesn't really fit with the facility. It's all about reform, and then on the back it's like, well, they can't reform. You know, it's the exact opposite. Juxtaposition maybe, but yeah, it is what it is. It's there. We've had some problems with a couple of bugs and a couple of issues. It does seem to be that people are just wandering around manacled up instead of being put into solitary. The danger level is also always going up. It's always, it's very difficult to keep it managed, even though we've got a lot of free time and loads of access to like gymnasiums and common rooms and all of these programs that we're running. So I don't know what's going on there. Probably most likely a planning issue on my part, but it's not something I can think about experiencing massive problems with before. Obviously we've done what we can for the shop and luxuries to be distributed and things. We had some problems being flung over the wall. It seems to be now resolved, but you know, we do have, again, some issues there at times. But overall, I'm fairly happy with what we've achieved. It was all about reform, and, well, punishment is at 7, reform at 8, security at 2, health at -1, because that's pretty much where it sticks. That's a 6% reoffending rate. It's the lowest reoffending rate that I can remember having, and the fact that we have all of this released prisoners and stuff in... Oh, sadly, there's one reoffended. Spoken too soon. Yeah, we've had a lot of reform, and as you can see, our cash flow is off the charts. Our prison is worth 1,590,000. So over over $1.5 million, and just in straight up generic units of currency in the bank, we got 811,000. So, yeah, that's a considerable amount of money, and we still haven't done all the grants. So overall, fairly happy with what we've managed to accomplish here. It's not something that we've really had to manage once we've set up all of the work and the reform. It's just sort of been running on its own. Naturally, we have to, now and again, we have to run a tunnel search or a shakedown, but because of all of the patrols we've got running, it pretty much sort of runs itself, which is, well, I'm pretty fine with. And we've still got, look at all those license plates that we're still waiting to be picked up. Good grief, because it's all this turf that I've bought that's going to take some time. But anyway, I think we're going to leave it there for this episode, and indeed for this main series. Now, I'm not opposed to coming back to making some changes and tweaks. I will be doing a extreme testing initiative where we put the prison through its paces, and we're also trying to do an escape as well. We'll have to see how both of those go. And then I'm potentially going to do a mini follow-up on the death row inmate that we get. And we might do a bit of a 3D tour just to round the thing off and see what it looks like once everything is completed. I'm not going to sit for the rest of this for, you know, to get all the turf, because it's going to be basically 2 or 3 days of watching turf be laid, which is, I don't think, overly interesting. So, yeah, we'll follow up with an extreme testing initiative and an escape attempt, and then we'll do, I think, a final episode, which will be about making some tweaks and changes here and there, and we'll check out some of the prisoners, some of the most noteworthy inmates, and death row, and also a bit of a 3D tour. And that should hopefully round the series off quite nicely. I will put a link in the video description for the save file. I won't upload it, I don't upload them to Steam Workshop, just in case you've purchased this from Introversion Direct and things like that. So in the link will be the save file, and yeah, that's the prison. Feel free to change, alter it, upload it, whatever. Just give original credit to myself and a link to the channel. That's all I ask. But yes, leave comments as always for any suggestions, changes, etc. that you think should be made to the facility, any areas that you've seen that maybe need altering, and I'll hopefully get to that before the last sort of final follow-up episode where we sort of finish this off for good. But either way, hope you have enjoyed this episode and the series thus far. Next episode we'll do some escaping and some extreme testing, and as always we'll see how we get on with that one. Either way, hope you have enjoyed the episode and the series thus far. Comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings. Hey, Addendum and future me here. I've skipped ahead about 3 or 4 in-game days to finish off all of the turf around the outside, made a couple of changes here and there, and also altered the regime and punishment, because quite frankly there was far too many people spending days and days and days in solitary, and well, that's made the prison better, but the danger level is still high. I also took the liberty of changing everything from this regime to completely free time with 3 sets of 2 hours of each, and the danger level didn't go down, so something is awry. Either way, the save file is in the description, and hopefully I can figure out a way to resolve what's happening. But yeah, there you go. Right, thanks, generic partings.